My wife Samantha recently went on a trip with her girlfriends. It was supposed to be one of those girls-only activities. They all got together, rented some hotel rooms in the city, and planned to have a blast, so they said when Samantha first told me about this little mini vacation. When Samantha first mentioned it, I thought it was a good idea. She was still hesitant to go, but after talking to me, I was able to convince her that it would be good for her. My wife is a workaholic. She works far more than any other person I've ever met, and she rarely has time for herself. This is by no means a bad trait, but everyone needs time to relax and blow off steam. Not to mention that for the past few months, she's been ranting about how her new boss is a complete psychopath, dumping all the work on her subordinates while demanding that they do their own chores. About a month ago, the situation at work became increasingly tense, and just before the boiling point, my wife decided to take an extended vacation. The week finally arrived, and as I was preparing to leave for work myself, Samantha was already busily packing her bag. I asked her to call me when she arrived and to get me if she needed anything. She thanked me, kissed me goodbye, and headed off to the Jeep with the sounds of a rock concert blaring out of it. The day went fine, and I finally made it home from work. The sun had long since set, and I headed to bed. Hours later, I hadn't gotten any calls or texts from Samantha, but I wasn't worried. Usually when things happen, you forget about the little things, so I just texted her goodnight and went to bed myself. Waking up the next morning, I awkwardly checked my phone. I had gotten a missed call from Samantha around 4 in the morning, but she hadn't left a voicemail. I figured she must have been out drinking all night and didn't get back to the room until early in the morning. A few more days went by and there was no word from Samantha. I started to get a little worried and decided to call and see how she was doing. The phone rang several times, but no one answered, and there was no greeting on the receiver, just silence. I waited a few seconds before saying hello, but when I did, the phone immediately hung up. I tried calling again, and this time the phone seemed to ring endlessly. When I finally got through to Natalie, one of Samantha's friends, she said that Samantha wasn't feeling well and had gone to bed in the hotel room. I figured that when I called Samantha, she had probably answered in her sleep, and the phone must have been disconnected. I decided that I would try calling her again in the morning. The next morning when I got in touch with Samantha, she didn't sound like herself at all. She spoke in a flat, unemotional tone and said she was just sick. I offered to pick her up, but she declined. After we hung up, I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something wrong with her. Samantha had been sick many times before, but she had never sounded like she did now. Several more days passed without hearing from Samantha, and finally she came home. Upon walking in the door, she immediately headed to our bedroom without saying a word to me. I tried to talk to her, but all she said was that she was tired and needed to rest. This behavior was not normal for Samantha, and I understood that. Over the next few weeks, I began to notice more and more strange things happening. When I woke up in the middle of the night, I found Samantha standing at my bedroom window, looking outside. When I would approach her and ask if she was okay, she would just turn away and go back to bed without saying a word. One night I woke up and she was nowhere to be found. I searched the house and finally found her standing in the backyard, looking up at the night sky. As I got closer, I heard her whispering something to herself, but it didn't sound like any language I would recognize. When I touched her arm to get her attention, she turned and looked at me, and for a split second her eyes went completely black and then returned to normal. I am at a complete loss as to what could be going on with my wife. She has become aloof, withdrawn, and exhibits very strange behavior, especially at night. I keep getting the feeling that something happened to her during that trip with friends, but I have no idea what. Have any of you experienced something like this? I need to find a way to help Samantha, but I don't know where to start.